Hello, welcome to Learn for Free Friday. My name is David Williams, and today we are going to learn about SharePoint and how to quickly and easily create a list from an existing Excel spreadsheet. Let's get to it. Okay, from our home screen here in SharePoint, your screen may look a little different, but in general, they're all pretty much the same. We're going to have our left navigation here with our links, and then we'll have our content area here in the middle. The way I like to create mine, and this is a Microsoft product, so there's no one way to do it. There's not a right or a wrong for the most part. So I'm going to walk you through my method. I'm going to first navigate to Site Contents. From Site Contents, this shows us any existing list and library inside of our SharePoint environment. So you'll see we have a few document libraries, one list in here called timesheets. We're going to add a new list for tracking product sales. Well, this list has already been tracking product sales. We've just been doing it in Excel. We now want to track this inside of SharePoint. Before we get into the how do we bring this into SharePoint, I first want to examine the spreadsheet with you. So here is the data that we're ultimately going to bring into the SharePoint environment that currently lives in Excel. You'll notice that my spreadsheet and my data is formatted as a table inside of Excel. We have about 6 columns of data. We have some product types, some product codes. Notice our date format. Our date is showing a 3-letter abbreviation for the month. However, if I select one of the cells in that range, notice here in my formula bar that it is actually storing the date in, I believe this is day, month, year format, right? Or no, this is, take that back. That is month, day, year. Notice we have a sale total. This happens to show in the British pound. If we select the cell and we again look at our formula bar, notice that the pound symbol itself is not stored. It's not a piece of data. We're simply tracking the raw number and then we're applying the format to that number in the cell. And then lastly, we have a sales staff and a region, which are simply some text columns. Now, I point some of those things out because when we go to import our spreadsheet into SharePoint, there's going to be some options, and we're going to want to pay attention to those before we get too quick with our clicks and miss something. So, closing our spreadsheet, this is called sample data. And back in SharePoint, to create our new list from that spreadsheet, we're going to click on the new dropdown. We're going to choose the list. And in the dialog that appears, more than likely you've already figured out which button we're going to click next. But if not, we are going to use the From Excel option. In this dialog, we have to select the file that we're going to use to generate our list. So we're going to click the Upload File button. And then I said the file was called Sample Data. So let's double click here to open. SharePoint reads the data. It picked out that we have a table inside of that Excel spreadsheet. If your Excel spreadsheet has multiple tables, the tables would be available from a drop-down list. If you've given your tables custom names, it'll pick up the names of the tables as they're stored inside of your spreadsheet. Now, below this, we see the data that we looked at inside of that spreadsheet. So we see the product type, product code, date, even though that doesn't really look like a date to me, but it says it's a date. And then we have our sale total, which is a number, our staff, and then our region. So let's start here at the beginning. Above each one of our columns, you'll see drop downs. These drop downs are for us to select what data type is going to be matched up or that best represents the data for each one of the columns. Now, the first one, product type, has the data type of title. So in a SharePoint list, in case you're not familiar, every row or every record has to be indicated with a title, and that title is used for clicking on the item to open it for viewing purposes. Okay. Maybe we want the product type to be our title. Maybe we want the product code. Okay. If we want the product code to be our title, we can click the drop down where it says single line of text, and we'll choose title. Now, you can only have one title column per list. So when we selected title for product code, notice that product type was automatically changed to a single line of text. Okay. Next, we have our date. Now, our date doesn't look like a date at all. And you'll notice that the data type that's selected is number. So this isn't a number. If we click the drop down, we'll be able to change this to a date and time format. And upon doing so, you'll see that it does pick up the date that is stored inside of that spreadsheet. Next, we have our sale total, which currently is set up as a number, which is fine. Maybe you want to just leave it as a number. But if you want this to be indicated with a currency symbol, you can select the drop down, change this to currency, and it will then, we'll see this when it comes in, it will show this in a currency format using the currency symbol that is set within your organization. And if we look at our last two columns here, our sales staff and our region are both single line of text. We're going to click on next. Our list has to have a name. Now, this jumbled mess of numbers and letters is not really descriptive, probably not what we want to use. We're just going to backspace this out, and we're going to call this product list. If you would like to give your list a description to help feed into search, you can do so, don't have to. And then lastly here, we have our site navigation. Do you want this list to show up in the quick launch? This isn't a one and done. If you choose to show it in the navigation and later change your mind, we can remove it. And likewise, if we elect to not show it in site navigation and we want to add it in later, we can do that as well. For now, I'm going to leave it checked and let SharePoint add this new list to our quick launch. We'll click on create. And in just a few short moments, SharePoint's going to finish wrapping up importing our data, and we're going to end up with a new list, all of our data there, ready to be used and shared in SharePoint. And there we go. Product list created. Notice our title column here. Now we can change this description, don't worry. I know this is actually the product code, so we can change this. We have our product type. Notice our date did come in a date format. And our sale total is showing our number, but it's in the currency of US dollar. So that's it. Very quick, very easy to generate a SharePoint list from an existing Excel spreadsheet. Do double check a few things though. Make sure your spreadsheet is set up with a table. Makes it much easier for SharePoint to pick up your data. If you have multiple data sets, store them and set them up as separate tables. And then just be a little bit familiar with the data that you're importing and making sure that we set the right data type when SharePoint picks that data up and prepares to import it. All right. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you stopping in on our Learn for Free Friday and hope you'll come back again. Take care.